show with Elma and Kimberly right down there on the end. I think this is the first time I've ever sat on the end.
Yeah.
I'm usually in the middle.
Yeah.
And since Sylvia brought all these beautiful women, they put me on the end, so I feel like I'm on the tail end. But we're going to have some fun with our beautiful guests tonight, and Sylvia is going to come back and introduce them, okay? But before we get started, remember this is a Christian-based talk show. But anyone can come on the show, just as long as you don't try to change me from being a Christian. Is that okay? Thank you.
Wonder if I have, wait a minute, Emma, wonder if I haven't become one yet.
Huh? She know always starting something. That's Kimberly. And I'm going to see if she going to approve the show before I finish, okay? All right. I always like to use Philippians 1:6, and this is my short version of it. Finish what you start. And some people say, that ain't the scripture. I know it, so go and read it. But that's my version of it because we all need to finish what we start.
Yeah.
We start things
Absolutely.
and we put it on the back burner and then we don't ever finish it, but you should finish what you start, okay?
Absolutely.
That's good, isn't it?
That's
I'm so
amazing.
happy to have Sylvia back on the show with us. Sylvia Hines. She's a publisher, and I'm going to let you tell that whatever, because I don't want to mess it up, because Kim and I have AARP every now and then, we forget little things. And dealing with Kim, I forget a lot of stuff. Okay, so that's Kimberly on the end. Hi, Kimberly.
You're so far down there. How you doing?
So good to see you again. Okay, so before we get started, we're going to do something totally different, okay?
What
As a
we
matter
gonna
of fact,
do?
I want y'all to know I got glasses on tonight.
Yes, you
All
do.
right.
Yes, you do.
I tried to get something like yours, Kimberly. But I think yours is the only one of them, maybe. But anyway, so I know a lot of people used to me with contacts, but
Yes.
the contacts wasn't working, so I just got me a pair of glasses.
But you look cute.
I know,
Yes,
thank you.
absolutely fabulous,
And I tried to
darling.
match a purple wig with my purple.
I saw you
so it
straighten
must have
out.
some little purple in there,
Yeah.
And I don't know, I can't remember the name of this one, but anyway. So tonight we're excited. It's going to be a very educational talk show tonight, and which I think is going to be good for all women that are out there. And Sylvia is going to introduce our two guests tonight, and they have an inspirational story to share to everyone. So I'm going to turn it over to, but first of all, Kim, do you approve of it?
I approve this message.
If she ever tell me she don't approve of it, I'm putting her off the show, okay?
I approve.
Woo! Okay, Sylvia, go ahead and tell us a
Well-
little bit about yourself first, too.
Okay. My name is Sylvia Hines.
Okay, I'm sorry, Sylvia. I get so excited.
I was introduced to you guys last year with the publishing of 2 books. You
Right.
have my authors under Chocolate Diamond Publishing.
And who are they?
They are Johnny Green.
Hi, Johnny! And she's going to come back in October.
She'll be back.
She'll
She's back in
on the
October
show.
for her first anniversary of her book being out. And you also had Joyce Ann Robinson.
Yes!
Yes,
Joyce!
with her
Both of them
testimony.
was awesome.
Yeah,
They were awesome.
Yeah, that was
We loved
amazing journey. Working on a
Yes.
couple of new book
Yes.
projects. But one of the things that has been my heart for over 2 decades has been a foundation that I started after my aunt died from breast cancer called Celebrating Life. And through that journey, I've met some amazing people that have taught me life lessons.
Mm-hmm.
You think that you learn lessons from, older people or from church, but I learned so many lessons from breast cancer survivors that really helped to undergird my journey, period.
Yes.
But 2 ladies that I think have tremendous stories that will encourage and empower you are these 2 ladies. Daphne Hornbuckle, who is a 2-time breast cancer survivor.
All right. Praise God. Yes.
But when you hear Daphne's real story, it will make you want to run and jump and run all around this table and shout and dance and sit down and dance again. Because Daphne was diagnosed with breast cancer when she was 25. I don't want to take anything from her story as she shares what that was like, but she showed me what a tenacious young woman she was, which evolved in the woman that she is now. And when I first met Daphne, she was in the trenches working with Delphi in New York, and they just had nothing but praise because she was doing some very intricate work in reference to breast cancer there. And I did a holy dance when she came to Dallas because, you know, I knew how they valued her there, and I was like, oh, okay, we got her. Sorry, you know, I hate she had to move, but you know, and she's been that way. She's a community advocate, but she's an advocate for people, period. And also Jacqueline Stewart, who has a phenomenal testimony, because one of the things that we talked about is the breast cancer walk that we're getting ready to do on October 2nd. Well, Jacqueline came to support me because we've known each other for years, and she's always been a supporter of the foundation. She was in a situation of being in transition as far as her insurance was concerned. We offered mammograms for women that didn't have insurance, so she's like, okay, I'll take advantage of this. And then she found out that she had breast cancer as a result of taking advantage of that. So these ladies have wonderful stories, wonderful testimonies that are going to encourage and empower and enrich and maybe save somebody's life.
Okay. All right, but before we get started with this, we're going to have a little fun. We're going to do a little quick fashion show so that they'll get a little comfortable and have fun with this. So who's going to go first? Kimberly, you got to go first and show them how to do your thing.
Yes, I'll take the mic.
Okay.
Get your bags.
Okay.
Walk without your bags. Okay. Get your bags. Grab your cute bags and let's
So
walk.
we're going to have some fun. And this is where I get to sit and see all these beautiful women do their thing. So Kim is going to go first and show this beautiful dress. I like that, Kim.
Thank you, darling. This is my African girl motif. It's so colorful and exciting, and it's a wrap. And then, of course, I brought my Anya Highmark bag to just do that sock it to me, baby look. Yeah. Along with my red bottoms.
I love your shoes.
Next, ladies. Come on, ladies.
Okay,
Come on.
who's
Y'all gotta
next?
be ready. Come on.
All right, here's Sylvia. Sylvia used to act so shy on the show.
I know she acts so shy. She's a publisher, an author.
All right. I'll talk about Sylvia. I
Yes,
love
talk
that.
about. I love
Okay,
that.
Sylvia,
I love that.
who is a publisher, she has on a beautiful, I love those circles, the different color circles.
Yes. Remember the
And
spiral
her
graph?
beautiful purse. I love that.
Uh-huh.
Where were you able to get that dress?
And the
That is
boutique,
beautiful.
very nice, very
I
cool.
love that. I
Does it
love
have pockets? That's right. I forgot to tell you, mine has pockets too. Does yours have pockets?
Oh, does it have pockets?
Oh,
Oh, they have pockets. Oh, that's cute.
Sashay together, right there.
Right,
Smile.
I love
Hold your
it.
head
I
down.
love the purse, the matching.
She's like, man, if I was a publisher girl, I'd be like,
Okay,
that's
who's
right,
next? Come
that's
on,
right,
Daphne.
that's right.
So Kim will be out there all night. We gotta get on. Okay, Kim, describe her outfit.
Okay, this is a business attire. It looks like it's a what? What? Who's the designer of your suit? Okay, well, it's absolutely stunning. I love the neutral color. You have your Coach bag. There you go, Coachy. The beautiful curly hair draped with a purple necklace. Pearl? Is that a pearl? A Tahitian pearl. Ooh.
Love it. Thank you, Daphne. Come on,
And
Jacqueline.
last but not least, come on,
I
Miss
like
Jacqueline.
that.
Go on and walk for your husband. With your Louis Vuitton.
Oh,
Yes, it's cut in the back. I love the split in the
I
back with
love
the
it.
zipper. Gives the husband a little when he's walking behind her. And the what?
Yes. Heard straight from Venice.
Venice, baby.
Oh,
Honey bought it.
Honey bought it. There you go, honey.
and I
The
like
shoes are
the hair.
the hair piece.
It's my wig on. I said I love dance because it keeps my wig on.
Don't get it twisted. Gorgeous, stunning. Love the floral print.
I love these fashion shows, I tell you. And I
get
know
to
y'all
show
were
out.
surprised. Y'all did good. Y'all really did good. Thank you so much. Okay, so who's gonna go first?
Okay.
Definitely said, okay. I've been surprised with a fashion show. Now I gotta go first.
So yes, absolutely.
I'm Daphne Hornbuckle, and I am a 30-year survivor.
All right.
30 years. Yes, back in 1991, I was diagnosed with breast cancer at the age of 27. And, you know, at that age, you're so young, you don't even realize that that could be, you know, you could be affected by breast cancer. I always thought that breast cancer were for, you know, women who are older, right? Not young women, right?
100 maybe.
Well, 60s, 70s,
She'll say
100. Like 60s
Leave
or
it to
70s
Kimberly.
or something like that, right? Okay, 70s. But never in your 20s.
Right.
That's
Right?
true.
Never in your
Right,
20s.
right.
And at that time, you know, you're not taught to actually
Right.
do self-exams on yourself or anything like that. So as I was showering, I came across this lump. And I didn't know anything about it. Even because I was one of the youngest in Long Island, the doctors didn't even know what it was.
Wow.
But they hadn't heard of breast cancer in someone that young. But what they said was, and I'm grateful that I had a female doctor who said, you know what, we don't know what this is, but we're not going to ignore it.
That's good.
And so
That's
she
good.
went ahead and she did a biopsy on it, and that came back that it was, you know, cancerous.
Oh, wow.
And so with that, I had to go through what was called a lumpectomy, and that's the removal of the lump. And so after that, I went through chemotherapy, and then I went through radiation. And then I went back to my usual daily self, right? And then you like 12 years later, I'm find another lump. And now I'm
in the same breast?
in the same breast.
In the same breast.
In the same breast. And now I'm in Dallas. So I'm in Dallas now, and I'm like, okay, this can't be happening all over again, because they tell you after 5 years, you're
Right.
cancer free.
Right.
And so now it's 12 years out, and it's like, okay, I found another lump. And so I go to my brand new doctor. I go to this doctor who, she didn't know me. I didn't really know her, but she knew about my history. And so I go to her and I say, I found this lump. One thing she did was she said, well, you know, she felt it and she said, I think it's inflammation. I wanted to believe that. She said it. I wanted to believe it. I said, okay. A few months later, not a few months, maybe a month later, I go back and I say, this lump is still here. And long story short, she says, what lump? You never told me you had a lump. Now, meanwhile, she said it's inflammation. She's giving me treatments for inflammation and all of that. But now it's a lump that is not going away. She said, well, I don't have it anywhere in my notes that it's a lump. And then I show her in her notes, you wrote it right here. I showed her. And then at that point, I said, you know what? Let me call my husband. I ran out of her office. I said, let me call my husband. I said, you have got to get me on the next flight back to New York, because I got to go back to that doctor. Because this one, I don't know anything about it. I got to go back. And so he was like, calm down. I was like, I can't calm down. You get me on the next plane. I'm going to call my doctor back in New York. I hope she remembers me. She remembered me because I was the youngest one on her team. Right. And so I go back. And she says, you know what? She said, why are you playing with this? She said, you've been playing with this for a few months now. She said, my gut just tells me it's cancerous. You have got to go back to Dallas, find a doctor, an oncologist, all of those doctors, breast surgeon and everybody, and get it taken care of. So at that time, I was working with Sylvia. And with Sylvia, we were doing the breast cancer support group. And I was leading the support group, and I did not want the ladies to be kind of, you know, nervous about their leader being, you know, affected with breast cancer. So I say, hey, tell you what, someone in the group needs to find a doctor. Who do you recommend? And one name surfaced to the top. This is how God works.
Yes.
God works. And it was like this doctor, she was a miracle doctor to me. Because I called her up and I said, I was meant to be here. And they said, well, she's not accepting any patients. I said, you don't understand. God told me I'm supposed to be here.
Come on, say
And
it.
so she said, hold on, let me talk to the doctor. The doctor says, have her to come on in. I came in and she reminded me, God has this way of talking to you, right?
Yes.
And so the reason I knew she was the right one is because she said, I don't know, but my gut tells me that this is probably cancer. But you probably already know that. So we'll go through the usual tests. I said, no. You have got to take this out immediately. And she looked at me like I was strange because I just walked in her office. She was like, and you want me to operate on you? I'm like, yes, let's take this out. And then lo and behold, she said, if you could be here by Friday at 6 a.m., I will do your surgery. And I said, okay. I will.
Just met her.
I just met her.
Wow.
This was Monday or a Tuesday. And she said, you be here Friday, I will take it out. And I said, okay. And she said, she came to my bedside. I was still under anesthesia with tears in her eyes. And she said, we got it. And she said, it was cancerous, but she said, you know what that means? And I was like, I do know. And I started crying even more because that means you have to now have a mastectomy. And that's the removal of the entire breast so that it doesn't have a chance of coming back again. And so I'm like, okay, here we go. So my husband, who's so great, he was like, okay, you have got to look at this now as a diseased part of your body. This is no longer your breast. If we are going to live long together, then you have to go through this in order for us to be together forever. So I said, okay.
Shout out to hubby.
Yeah. And so, but through my tears, I was like, you don't understand. I was born with 2 breasts. I got to walk out with, and all that kind of stuff. So what the doctor proposed was reconstruction at the same time of the surgery. And that surgery was a 7-hour surgery. And my husband's like, you do not have to do this for me. I said, no, I'm doing this for me. I have got to do this for me. And so I wound up having that 7-hour surgery and got a flat stomach as a result of it because they actually took the tissue from the stomach to recreate the breast.
Oh.
So here I am today, 30 years out now.
Praise God.
30 years, you don't even look at 30
Don't do that, man. Don't stop. Don't do that.
She not even look
That's okay. She was 27 and
Do you want to go up and model again? Let's go back to the fashion show.
I was like, women 25, 30, 35. I was like, she looks so young.
Well, that's a blessing.
I mean, just flawless skin.
That's a blessing.
I'm thinking she looked 27.
That's what I'm saying.
That's a blessing. That is a blessing.
So how did when you first found out this, how did you react?
Well, I mean, I was torn apart actually.
Right.
And I actually wrote a story called you know how you want to write a will? I wrote my will to live. And so I turned it around.
That was
good.
good.
Yeah, because once I started trying to write a will, I realized at 27, the bank's still on my car. I didn't have a house. I didn't have anything to leave. I had nothing to put in the will.
I'm not gonna leave something to that I don't have.
I had nothing.
You wrote a will to
live.
live,
That's
which is good.
Yes,
Yes,
I turned
good.
it around.
Very
Yeah.
So you turned your
will
negative
to
into
live.
a positive.
Yeah.
And so after you did that will to live, what did you do next?
That's when I started working with other ladies.
Okay.
It started in New York. I started working with a support group in New York at Adelphi University.
Mhm.
And then I started going out and speaking. And so I was going in, like not necessarily a lobbyist, but going out to the capital, which is Albany, and just, actively going after the laws for breast cancer survivors, right?
That's
and just
good.
trying to help the survivors who don't know what to do next, and just trying to get certain laws put in place.
That's beautiful.
But then I moved to Dallas, and then again I met Sylvia before I moved to Dallas, and so we decided to put together the support group here under her Celebrating Life Foundation. And I ran that, and like I mentioned before, and that was just wonderful just to meet so many different ladies, to be there and be supportive of these ladies and everything, and just hold their hands, just hold their hands and know that they too can get through this. And so we had so many ladies who walked through our doors that we just held their hands, and they were like, well, I'm scared because I'm like 1 year out, and I'm like, I'm 10 years out, or we got someone else who's 20 years out, or we got so it was an inspiration for them, right? And so that really helped. And we actually did a fashion show, right, for survivors.
See? That's
And
awesome.
so it was a blessing. It was a blessing all the way around. So God is just so awesome. He is just so awesome.
That is awesome. So how are you now?
I am great.
I love that.
I am
She
great.
didn't even stop. She said, I am great.
Yes, I am great.
That is awesome. awesome.
Then was
You
it
know-
hereditary? Was it in your family?
It was. I was the first one in my family to be diagnosed with cancer.
Okay.
Yeah, the
Do you have
first
any
one.
sisters?
No,
Just you.
just me. Mhm.
Okay. So mama
But-
didn't have it, daddy didn't have it, or anything.
My dad, 5 years after I was diagnosed, he was diagnosed with prostate cancer.
Okay.
And so, in where I'm from in New York is Long Island, and in Long Island, again, this is me getting involved. There are studies on Long Island because the fertilization and the electromagnetic fields are causing health issues for some of the people there. And so what we realized was I lived here across the street, that person had cancer, next to them they had cancer, and then this person over here had cancer. So it was in this little radius that there was cancer. And so we were like, okay, it's got to be something than just, genetics or anything like that. It's got to be something going on environmentally.
Yeah, I always
Mhm.
wondered
What
that.
part of Long Island?
I'm from Hempstead.
Okay, I was in Southampton for 8
Oh, okay.
years.
Oh, wow.
Maybe that's what happened.
See?
Never
You never
know.
know.
You
You
never
never know.
know.
And you never know when it's going to be triggered. So it could have been in my body for years and we just never
Right.
know.
Lie dormant. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, look at God.
Yes.
Grace,
Yes.
His mercy.
Awesome.
God
yes.
is awesome.
Toward you.
Yes.
Yes,
Oh,
what the devil tries
beautiful.
to do for evil, and God just turns it
Just
into.
Won't he
Yes.
do it?
Yeah, won't he
Mhm.
do it?
Yes, he
Mhm.
will.
Yes, he will.
Okay,
Yes, he will.
Jacqueline, you want to share?
Okay.
You got this one right here.
Hi, I'm Jacqueline Stewart.
Hi, Jacqueline.
Well, I'm a mother of 5
Are you serious?
girls.
Girls.
Been
Girl, you
married-
look good. Wow, girls.
I'll be having my 70th birthday in March.
Your what?
Wow.
70th.
Her 70th.
7-0.
7-0 and
Girl,
heels
what you
like
doing?
It's
You look
Jesus.
Gosh, you look awesome.
Thank
Both
you.
of you all.
Yes. Well, getting to my story. I was working for an accounting firm for 18 years and decided, hey, I'm tired of this. I want to go home, vacation more. And I thought I'd get off at 2015. That was February 2015. Well, in 2016, I had an exam. Everything went great. But one thing I forgot, I went on vacation and skipped my breast exam. So I said, I'll call you when I get back. Well, I didn't call them because I forgot. Well, anyway, make a long story short, my insurance at that time was $112 a month. Then Scott and White called me and said it was changed to $611. And that was in June.
A month?
A month, $611. And I had to call him. I said, wait a minute, you jumped from 112 to 611. Cancel me now. Click. So anyway, I thought in myself, when you think in yourself and don't ask God, you get in trouble
Yeah.
sometimes. But anyway, make a long story short, I said, well, I'll be turning a certain 60, I think it was 66. And I said, well, I'll get Medicare in January. And so I went on, and so Sylvia Celebrating Life came around, and I'm going to go. So I went out there and clicked on to pay for it. And I always like to look and see how many people are coming. Okay, it's always the first Saturday in October. Well, I went out there and I paid, and I saw, Sylvia said she didn't know anything about it, but I saw an advertisement for the mammogram, the mobile mammogram.
Yeah.
And right then, sometimes the Holy Spirit will speak to you and you
Come
say,
on now.
what are you trying to tell me, Lord? And so I just ignored that like we do sometimes, ignore him
Yeah.
sometimes when we shouldn't. Well, anyway, I went out there probably a week or two later, and it came up again. And I said to myself then, I said, Lord, what are you trying to tell me? And so anyway, I went to the walk. It was October the 1st. I remember it was October the 1st, 2016. And I did my walk, 58 minutes and I guess 50 minutes. Almost took me a whole hour to walk that far. But anyway, under the sun, but it was so much fun. With so many women and men there. We just fun and boost each other on. And when you come in, they ring the bell and sound. It's just nice. But anyway, then my appointment came up and I went to the mobile. And it was my time to go inside to have the exam. Behold, the lady that was going to take my exam, her name was also Jacqueline. So Jacqueline looked at me and she said, Jackie, if there's anything in there, I'm going to find it. So what happened, that was Saturday the 1st. I get a call from Methodist Hospital on Monday, that very 3rd. And they asked me to make an appointment to come in. So I was out walking in Keys Park, and I said, Lord, I hope it's not what I'm thinking, but anyway, I'm going to go on in. So I went in. The technician took the exam, the sonogram, about 2 or 3 times. Then the doctor comes in, and she takes the exam. Next thing, another person come in and said, could we do a biopsy on you? I knew then. I said, yeah, go ahead and do it. You know, we have to do what we don't want to do sometimes, but it be for the best anyway. So I went there, laid on the table, and looked to the side, and I saw this. The reason why I'm telling you this part, because I want you to remember something at the end. I looked to the side, and I saw this figure. You know, the scanner only shows you what it sees, but maybe it's bigger than what you think, but it was a dime size. And I knew then there was something there. So they sent it off and came back and told me I had cancer. And I wasn't grieved because I felt like God had already told me and he's going to walk me through because I'm a woman of prayer. Yeah. So anyway, to make a long story short, I went through everything, went through chemo, which was horrible. I had beautiful people that came over my house, SB, Clara, Diana, Elma, different ones. Hi, Sister Patrick. I just could go on and on. People coming over praying for me. But the one thing they kept telling me, everybody that prayed for me said it's going to dry up like Jesus cursed that fig tree.
All right now.
And it was going to dry up like that fig tree. So I had this in my heart. So I'm pumping. God, I know you've done it for me. So 2 weeks before surgery, I'm going to tell you how Satan don't play fair.
Come on.
He's there to kill, steal, and destroy any hope and faith that you have in him. So what happened was I'm laying on the table again. And so the lady has to pinpoint for the doctor where the cancer was. And so as she pinpointed, she showed me, not intentionally, but I saw it, what it looked like. And I'll tell you the truth. It was like this. She said, praise God. It looks like a crown. I said, no, that don't. That look like a demon. And it looked bigger. So remember, I saw it as a dime size, and now I see it as a hand. So I went out of there just crying. My faith. Look at this. Satan don't care what he shows you.
Come on.
You have to know your faith is not by sight.
Yes.
Faith is not by sight. So I went home and one of my cousins, Linda, she called her brother in Bryan, Texas. And time I got in the house, I get this call. And I go to my prayer closet. I really have a prayer closet. I went in my prayer closet. And so anyway, Bone, I call him Bone, but it's Bishop Bone, Bishop Green. But anyway, make a long story short, he said, Jack, we walk by faith and not by sight.
Come on.
Girls, the tears rolled. Because I said the enemy tried to rob me of what it would take for this cancer to be removed. He was trying to cheat me out of something that God requires for him to do what he has to do. Jesus already paid the price. All you have to do, Jackie, is come on in faith. So I'm so excited. I'm sorry about it, but I'm so excited. But you know what? I told my doctor, Dr. Deep with Swelly, which is a wonderful doctor at Methodist Hospital, and she operated on me. And I had to go back in 2 weeks. I think it was 2 or 3 weeks. And when she walked in the room as I'm undressed, she came in with a little smile. She said, Jackie, she took a paper and she did a pen. She did like this. She said, what you saw was scar tissue. That was scar tissue. It had wrapped around and dried. Now, I didn't tell her this. She said, that dried it up. Girl, you talking about shout? That's what the women had to dance on. Hallelujah. you, God is good.
Yes.
And I want to tell you, we are sometimes faced with difficulties.
Yes.
God promised us if we trust him
Yes.
and live in his word,
Come
he
on.
will do what man can't do.
Yes.
I don't care if you have to go to the doctor or a miracle. Whichever way God moves, he'll move on your behalf if you just trust and believe it. Hallelujah. That's my testimony.
And I thought you couldn't talk. I thought you couldn't talk.
Out of that, I got a prayer. I pray for people who are going through things, and
Yes.
it's at Prayer Mountain in Dallas, and I have it every Monday night at 7:00. But anyway, out of that came a brokenness to pray for others.
There you
Wow.
go. Amen.
Wow.
Amen.
God.
You are.
And she said she couldn't talk. I'm not a talker. I am not a talker.
Those are awesome testimonies.
Yes.
You know, and I'm sitting here thinking, you know, because back years ago when I went in for, I go every year.
Right.
And this one year I went in and they thought they saw something.
Mm-hmm.
I panicked. I was in my 20s too.
Uh-huh.
I panicked and I went and my husband said, no, we gonna touch and agree.
There you go.
Because by his stripes,
Yes.
we are healed.
Yes.
And so when I went in there and I said, I ain't never had no breast, I ain't never had nothing like this to come up on an exam. And they sent me this letter and they said, well, we want you to come back in and we're gonna double check and all this stuff. I went through all that and then she called back and said, oh, it was a thing on the
Smudge.
girl, I was a cursor then. I wanted to go in there and curse to myself. She said, oh, Miss Kirker, we're so sorry. It was a smudge or something that was on the screen and it showed up on my picture. Had me up there and scream. I was just, and my husband said, baby, I tell you now, you can't just get upset every time something happened, you know. But I was in my 20s, you know, and I've never had anything like that to happen, you know. So I didn't know about that. And then also in my 20s, then I go in and they told me I had cancer and I was going to have a hysterectomy. So all of this was like, wait a minute now, I done went through this and here I got to go through this. Find out that was just abnormal cell. I said, God, what are you trying to tell me? And my father-in-law said, no, we touch you in the Greek. He believed in that.
Oh.
And I said it all the time and everything. And so, you know, when you're young, and I was in my about 20, 23, and you have been talking about hysterectomy and I can't have kids and all of this here. And so one of my ladies, I was working as an engineer at the time at General Dynamics, she said, no, this is what I want you to do. Because I even went down to the hospital, get ready to have hysterectomy. And I heard this voice said, get up, put your clothes on. I'm looking around like this. You know, I wasn't that strong in the law then. You know? And we say in the law then. And I heard this voice again. It was real. And that third time it said, get up and put your clothes on. I grabbed my clothes and I ran out of there. And so when I got back and the woman said, try my doctor. His name is Dr. Henry Bermonte. I'll never forget it. He probably gone on. But I went to him and he did the, whatever that little thing. I can't think of it now. The test, you know. And so when he came back, he said, Elma, you don't have cancer? He said, those abnormal cells.
Like a pap smear.
Pap smear, that's it.
Yeah.
He said, I don't know, why would they tell you that? But later on, I did research and I found out why. But he said, no, those abnormal cells. Now, if you had kept them for years and years, they probably could have turned into cancer. He said, but you don't even have them, and we can freeze them. And he froze them. And if I hadn't had, you know, a praying husband and a praying grandfather, then after I got there, he said, how many kids you want? We're going to pray for how many kids? I said, Daddy, I don't want but 2 healthy kids. Oh, you sure you don't want but 2? I said, that's all I want, but 2. But you know, when you're young like that and you hear these things, and a lot of young women nowadays are probably hearing this, and they don't know how to react. So what advice would you all tell them?
You know what? I think I said this before, but do it afraid.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? So whatever that walk is, you need to be strong enough to walk the walk.
Okay.
And go through it, knowing that you're not going through it alone. You know what I'm saying? You're not going through it alone. There are many women who have gone through this already, but God is walking with you through this all the way.
Yes.
And so we have got to have a closer relationship with God to really understand that God got this.
Yes.
You know?
But you know what, Daphne? There are some out there that are not Christians.
Yeah.
They don't know nothing about God.
That's true.
So how are you gonna talk to them and tell them? Because you know you might run into some of them
Right.
that don't know God. What you gonna tell them on that?
Use me as an example.
Okay, so
You
you'll
know
be
what
able
I'm
to
saying?
witness.
Yeah, I'm a witness. So I've already gone that walk, right? I've walked that walk. So I was probably like a lot of them who said it cannot happen to me.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? But it did. And it happened twice. So and I was like everybody else. I was like, okay, what lesson did I not learn? You know, the first time around. But I learned my lesson, and I'm like, okay, I'm good. God, this is my purpose. This is what I'm going to do. You know, I'm going to use this to help others. So I will be there for them. I mean, that's what the support group is for.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So we've had women who were in their 20s say, I just want to see my babies grow up.
Right.
And I'm saying, okay, then let's follow the dotted line. Let's get you the treatment that you need. Let's get the insurance that you need. Let's go and keep walking. But know that you're not walking alone. And so you have the support groups to help you through this as well. But when you're young like that, it is hard.
Yeah.
It is hard, but you have to do it afraid. You have to make sure that you continue to walk that walk, because early detection is your best weapon. I strongly believe that. The earlier it's found, the better your chances. So don't sit back and say, wait, no. I mean, I've heard all kinds of, it's a boil, it'll dissolve. No, go get it checked out. Get it checked out regardless. And then let's see what's going on.
Right.
Jacqueline, I know you finna say something. So
Yeah, I was just going to say, life happens to saved and unsaved.
There you go.
Life just happens. Difficulties in life happen to us all.
Right.
But like Daphne was saying, early detection. Young people feel like, I'm young, I'm a party, I'm going to do this. I don't have time to get an exam. You have to get things checked out. Like yours happened when you were what? 25?
27.
27. And some people are younger than that.
Absolutely.
You had one that 13? 18. Okay.
Yeah, wow.
So, but the thing of it is, we got to get the material out there to the people.
Right.
Let them know early detection. Look at me. I went on vacation. Forgot I had an exam to do.
Right.
They may have found it early while I had insurance.
While you out there
Having fun on the
insurance, you out there
yeah. But anyway,
like it's hot.
but that's why we as Christians need to witness. Let them know the kingdom of heaven has come unto them. God's will is for us all to live happily ever after.
Yes.
Right.
But there is times that things come to drop in our life. But we who are Christians are there for people who need us.
Yes.
So be shy, but do what you can do.
Oh boy, you are all awesome. And you know, this is what's needed. We have to have people that have experienced this. And then sometimes you might ask God, why me? Did y'all ask him that at the beginning?
Oh, yeah.
I did.
Oh, yeah.
Why me?
I did.
I did.
She
I'm
was on
older.
vacation.
I'm older.
I did.
I was in my 60s. Now,
And
if
you
I
didn't
was-
ask God, why
wasn't.
me?
No, I never did. I mean, I was Rudy Tooty, and I was just in faith until I saw it.
Okay, but see, she was young.
She was young.
It got to that stage.
People,
It was
different.
Yeah.
Yes. When
So
I-
it's a different, age groups
It
are
is.
different.
That's
Age women's supposed to teach the young anyway.
They
okay.
said the older women teach the younger women.
Right.
I like mature women.
Yeah, okay.
I like that.
I was just going by King James Version.
But you know, we ask that question, why me? And a lot of time, God knows that you can deal with it.
Right.
I feel that He knows that you can deal with whatever is out there.
Yeah.
You know, and a lot of time we don't want to talk about it because
That's true.
some people think that Black people just don't talk about things. That
Right.
we don't go to counseling.
Right.
We
Right.
shouldn't do that. Whatever goes in the house stays in the house.
And that's what I faced when I first started dealing with
Mhm.
celebrating life. And keep in mind, you're talking about over 2.5 decades ago. People weren't sharing their testimonies
That's
like
right.
that.
You're
You
right.
know, in fact,
Absolutely.
when I first did my book on breast cancer survivors, I was told when you find Black women, they're going to be in the latter stages of cancer. They're not going to want to talk to you, and if they do want to talk to you, they're really going to be too sick to really share their testimony.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think that now we have seen such an evolution when it comes to not only the medical field, but to the way we deal with information, because
That's
knowledge
good.
is power.
It is.
And before it was like breasts were like considered, sexual. You didn't want anybody to know something that happened. But you have women that have gone proactive and had bilateral mastectomies, and some of them not even having reconstructive surgery because they realize their life is more important than their breasts.
That's right.
So it has just been amazing to see how far we've come, but we've come this far because of testimonies like Daphne.
this.
When people can see that this young lady has gone through this, she's gone through it
It's
twice,
still looking
and
good.
see, and
Both of
that's
y'all.
the thing.
Gosh.
No, and that's the thing is
Yes.
to show that. I mean, I remember when I first did a photo exhibit of breast cancer survivors. I was at a medical conference, and this woman walked past, and she was looking, and she said, "These women are all that in a bag of chips," and it was like, and really, and that's true. And we started doing a breast cancer survivors calendar, and you see how vivacious the
Yes.
women are, and that's the whole important thing, is to let women know that it's about you taking care of yourself. That's what makes you sexy.
That's right.
Right.
You know, is
That's
you
true.
taking care of
Yes,
yourself.
absolutely.
It's not whether you had
That's
a lump removed, a breast removed, both, but it's you taking care of yourself, and you're
Yes.
still here.
And if that man wants you, he's gonna take you just as you are.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
Because we
Absolutely.
have to think about ourselves.
Right.
Yes.
First.
You know, because there is somebody out there that will love you
Yes.
with
Right.
no breast
Yeah.
or with a breast.
Right,
You know?
right. Even
So
if that somebody is you.
that's you. And you gotta make sure you love you.
That's
I
right.
hear you. I hear you.
That's
So
right.
how often is your support group? When do y'all meet or what?
Well, we haven't met. Well, I haven't met with them
Right.
in a while.
Okay.
It became a bit much for me
Mhm.
Okay.
because of the emotions behind it.
Okay.
You know, doing that on a weekly basis, it became a lot for me. But I'm sure that Sylvia is going to be starting it up.
Right, and we work with other organizations that do
Okay.
support, but we've gotten involved with so many other areas.
Okay.
So we just started directing people to
Oh, different
other
support
supports
groups.
like
Different
Methodist
support
has one. There are a couple of other groups that we know that have them, because we've started doing meals for women going through chemotherapy. We do the walk. We've been doing chemo day to do gifts to support people going through chemotherapy. So we've been offering other forms of support.
So when is this walk coming up?
It's coming up on October the 2nd,
First
which
Saturday.
you can either do it on site at the Allen ECM Cedar Hill Recreation Center, or you can do it virtually. And that means wherever you are, whatever state you're in, whatever city you're in, you can join us on October 2nd for
So
the
you're
Sister
doing
to
it on
Sister.
Zoom or you doing it on?
We're doing it physical
And
in Texas,
in
but
person.
people that want to do it virtually, they can do it wherever they would like to. We're also bringing in Mary Lou Davis, who was one of the finalists in with Hell's Kitchen in season 19. She's going to come in and do a cooking demo and do some special meals for survivors. It's our 20th year for the event, so we're looking at doing some special gifts for survivors and doing some special wishes to honor some women that
That's
are
awesome.
in the latter stages of cancer and have had some trying situations happen.
That's awesome. So that's going to be October the 2nd, which is a good month. It's my birthday month.
All right.
So,
So you come celebrate
That's
your
right. I
birthday.
celebrate the whole month. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
We know the time is getting out. I can't even speak. I can't imagine you all looking so awesome.
Yeah.
I want to say one thing. Sylvia
You just
forgot.
said it. You said one thing.
Oh,
No,
well, let me say a second thing then. Sylvia
No, I'm just
also,
playing. Go
she's also reached out to the survivors with telephone calls. She did mention the
good.
meals and people who are having surgery that need to talk to someone. She's made a plan that someone contact them and keep in touch with that.
Yeah.
And it's so beautiful.
That's
And
good.
what's good about celebrating life is that it's for women of color.
Okay.
And that's important because when I was at 27 and I went to a support group for women under 30, it was only 3 of us, but nobody looked like me. And so I couldn't relate. And so when I was introduced to Sylvia and her organization, I felt like I belong here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
That I could relate. So the other organizations, and I'm not knocking any other organization, but the women there, they were like, oh, well, I don't have to go to work. Well, I got to go to work every day. And they were like, well, my husband's going to do that. I don't have a husband. You know, so again, I couldn't relate to other women of ethnicity.
Yes.
So when Sylvia came along, again, I was able to relate. And we just, the women, we bonded. And we are still together.
Yes.
And we are still
Have
together.
so much
and so
fun.
that's so important.
How many in your group, right? I mean, how many?
I mean, it's probably was about 20 or plus or something like that. Yeah, and we still are connected to this day. We're still connected. So it's a beautiful thing because it's like it's a bond that you really don't want to be a part of, but once you're a part of it, it is for life.
Right.
It is for life.
So you really don't even think about the cancer that much. I mean, do you when you in the group that much? You don't. You. I mean.
But when you meet each other needs,
Okay,
because
that's
everybody's
it.
going through some stage different,
Okay.
and they may have something that I could talk to them about
good.
and witness to them that you're gonna make it, and pair them with somebody that has what they have, and I leave them and go to somebody else. So it's really a compassion. Celebrating life is very compassionate, and the people, we all have smiling, just grinning and crying and just having a bunch of fun, just loving on one another.
And that was the thing when I started working on the book, which evolved into the foundation. And I had interviewed 62 survivors. Some of them.
How many?
62.
Ooh, that's a lot of
interviews. And that was from 16 states, and it was from 3 months to 45 years of survivorship. And I looked at everybody's story and I'm like, okay, so what does everybody have in common? And that's how I came up with the title, Celebrating Life, because they were all celebrating life. It didn't matter if the doctor said they had 6 months to live or the doctor said everything is fine and you're going to be, wonderful. They just all were celebrating life. And as you see with Daphne, you see with Jacqueline, it's like breast cancer. I never met anybody who said that breast cancer was the worst thing that ever happened to them.
No.
Some people said it was the best because it made them value life different, make them switch their priorities and things like that. So that's the whole essence is to encourage women and men, because men get breast cancer.
They get it too now.
Yes, that you can celebrate.
They had it then, they just didn't tell nobody.
Wow, this is just so amazing. And Facebook, to you all who I was listening to this, never give up on life. And I like what you say, celebrate life.
Yes.
And a lot of times we don't celebrate life. We wait till something tragedy come into our life and all of a sudden now we want to go do this. But celebrate every day that you get up.
That's correct.
Every day that you get
God
up.
bless
You celebrate and don't complain. Start enjoying life. And I'm trying to be an influencer. I learned a new word last week. I'm an influencer. But it's good that you all are sharing.
Yes.
Great.
Because a lot of women need to hear this.
Absolutely.
And really, I wish y'all would come back in breast awareness in October too.
It is. Yes. It's
Maybe you all will come back again and we can do another special show. Or you might want to bring some more women. We can make another table. But people need to hear that you don't have to die just because you hear the word cancer.
That's correct.
And it's a fearful thing when you hear that word cancer, whether it's breast or whatever, I got a lady that I'm talking to. I'm going to get her on the show. We was praying for her on yesterday. She's a young lady, and she was mentioning things. And Satan comes in, like you say, he comes in through the mind, and he tried to scare her. But by the time I got through being an influencer, baby, now, we laid some hands on her, and she gave me a good report today. She said that the match that they thought was there is not there anymore. So I started shouting when she told me that, So God has a way of making us call on him even more.
Yes.
You start trusting him, like you say, you start
Absolutely.
trusting him even more. So tonight we hope that you have heard something inspirational from both of these ladies' testimony. So what would you all share? Just give some love out there to those people that are going. What would you say to them before we close?
One scripture that I love to quote is 1 John 14 and 15. This is the confidence that we have in him. If we ask anything according to his will, he hears us. And if we know that he hears us, we shall have the petition that we desire of him. Be blessed and know that God would never leave you nor forsake you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I'm going to piggyback off of that and say, I know the plans. God knows the plans he has for you.
Yeah.
And so what looks like, detrimental today is not going to be that way tomorrow.
Come on, say it.
Okay, so where I've come from, from being 27 and thinking that was the end of my life, here I am 30 years later, don't do the math, but here I am 30 years later. And whenever I do a talk, I say, well, look at me. And when I do Sylvia's calendar, I say, look at me.
Yeah.
You can still be beautiful,
That's
having gone through. Okay, God walked me through this. He carried me through this. Okay, so I'm saying that you can get through this.
Yes.
So for those out there who don't realize it, God is awesome. He is just awesome. And please get to know him. Get to know get a relationship with him, develop that relationship with him, because you never know when you're gonna need him. And you want to be there. You want him to hear you when you need him. You want him to hear you when you need him.
Awesome. Yeah. And before we close, Kim, I want to share one T-shirt with you all that my son.
Oh, excuse me.
Oh, what do you?
Come on, Kim. I just want you all. Who I'm going to do this right
Go ahead. Go grab a t-shirt. Okay.
Oh, T-shirt. Oh.
Okay.
You want this one? It comes in
Y'all
different
come right
colors.
here. Y'all come right here.
Because these are T-shirts that one match yours, that one match yours.
Oh, yeah.
And each one of them has the word inspired. And you all just, you think about things. Let me get my mic right quick. You think about the testimony that they just shared with their breast cancer. And each one of these T-shirts says something about inspiration. Inspire. And we all try to inspire each other. And I have one for the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost up here holding these shirts. And you can find these shirts at www.kirkinspirations.com. Emmanuel Kirkwood is the CEO, and he designed all of these T-shirts. All of these T-shirts, he designed them. And he can design whatever. He can put pictures on them. He is so creative that God has blessed him to design these different shirts to inspire different people. Not only that, he also has a photo booth that takes beautiful pictures. And that's at www.thekirkbooth.com. So thank you, ladies, for your beautiful testimonies of inspiration. They are, you all have really just inspired me. I tell you, I'm just so elated that y'all look so good. You don't look nothing like what you have experienced. So thank you. I tell you what is making me celebrate life even more and stuff. When I'll be 61 in October. I'm enjoying. I'm gonna have me a good. I'm gonna invite y'all to my birthday party, October 15th, y'all. We're gonna be right here. But thank you, Sylvia. I really appreciate you introducing me to these beautiful women. I still can't get over y'all age. Woo, Lord, I'm not going to even calculate it. But anyway, thank you, Daphne. Thank you, Jacqueline. Thank you, Sylvia, for introducing. When she said that, I said, yes, please bring them on the show. Because it has really inspired me to just thank God. I didn't have to experience that. But I thank God for you all, for your testimony and stuff. I've experienced the scared of it, but never have experienced that, what you all have experienced. So
Right.
until we see you every Monday and Thursday, 8 p.m., please tune in to the Talk of Light Talk Show with Elma, Facebook and YouTube. And if you haven't watched our shows, you can go back, watch all of our previous shows on YouTube and Facebook. And we would love for you to subscribe to it. If you would like to be on the show, you can contact me at this one made me forget. www.elmatalkshow.com. And we will love you. Sylvia, anybody else, if y'all know anyone else that want to come on the show, please let me know. We would love for them to come on the show. Okay, is it okay, Kim? Are we ready to close out?
Thumbs up.
All right. Until we see you face to face, may God bless you. Love you.